All right, it's a new year, new me, new project, and that means new YouTube videos. Let me show you what we're working with. This here is a 1930 Dodge DD6 coupe. Picked this thing up in West Virginia, and the thing is super clean. Supposedly it had been restored at some point in time in its life. I'm not sure how thorough of a restoration they did, because to me it just looks like they might have put a paint job on it and redid the interior. There's a lot of things that were not replaced or taken off when they did the paint job. Some of the rubbers look like they're from 1930, which suggests that it was not taken apart. It's not like a frame-off restoration or anything, but the entire car is super clean. The insides of the doors have zero rust on them. It doesn't look like there were any patch panels put in. The car is just really clean, which is why I'd say it's more of a survivor car than it is a restored car. As far as the paint job goes, it does need to be repainted. The paint that's on it is starting to check in a handful of places. I don't know if you can see that on camera right there on the doors. It's pretty weathered. Looks like it's pretty old as far as the paint job goes, but that's okay because I plan on completely repainting it, changing the color, and doing a lot of things to this car. I'm gonna cut it up. It's gonna upset a lot of people, but that's okay. Under the hood, this car came with a 6-cylinder. The motor had, I think, a whopping 60 horsepower, which is nothing to run home about, but that's okay because I plan on tearing this motor out and putting something else in here. We'll get to that later, but as far as this motor goes, supposedly it runs. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's got a lot of compression. I can turn this thing over by hand, and I don't know if the valves are stuck open or what. I have no interest in trying to get this thing to run again. You can see there's no battery in it, but allegedly this thing ran at one point in time. And like I said, I have no interest in using this motor or any of the drivetrain for that matter, but this is what it came with. The interior on this thing is super clean. It's definitely been redone, but the doors look like they're original. The bottoms of the doors have zero rust on them. I don't know if you can see. It does not look like there's been any patch panels put on this thing, which is why I think it's more of a survivor type car. The interior is really clean, but it's going to have to get completely redone just because it is old. And you can definitely smell that there's been some mice in here. I think there's probably some mice up under the headliner up here, and we're gonna have to find them in a little while. But I really like the look of the gauge cluster and how this was done back in the day. I don't know if that's some kind of brass or what, but it just looks really fancy. Another reason I think this is a lot of original parts on this thing is if you peel the carpet back, you can see the wood underneath. The wood looks like it's original. I don't know who put some AstroTurf on this portion of it, but a lot of that wood does not look like it's been replaced. We're gonna end up tearing all that out of here anyway and redoing it. Anyway, the outside of this car is super clean. We're gonna end up cutting it up into a million pieces, and that's gonna upset a lot of people, but I guess they're just gonna have to get over it. Anyway, here's the rumble seat. It's definitely been reupholstered, but I think that all this material is just like some cheap vinyl, and we're not gonna end up using any of that anyway, so that's gonna get redone. Car's got a spare tire on the back and one tail light. We're gonna end up changing a lot of this. The wheels are made of wood. I don't plan on using any of those either. You can see the Dodge Brothers logo in the center of the center cap. Fun fact, the Dodge Brothers were dead for about 10 years before this car actually came out, and Dodge was owned by Chrysler at the time, and I believe this was like the last model that had the Dodge Brothers logo on it. Everything else from here on out was a Chrysler product. The running boards are super clean, definitely solid. I'm gonna be reusing those. Top's got a vinyl section in the middle of it. That's gonna have to get replaced. The front, see, got these pretty sweet, I don't know if it's considered a fog light or spotlight, whatever that's considered, but it's got one on either side. The windshield, this is why I think that some of it has not been restored, because if you look at this rubber here, it's pretty dry rotted and just crumbling out of there. I don't think that's ever been replaced, which I don't think the glass has ever come out. It kind of looks like the original glass. If you look down at the edge of it, it doesn't look like it's laminated glass, so I got a feeling this is the original glass is going to have to come out. I'm going to put some laminated glass in there. You can see it was supposed to have a wiper blade up here, and that's missing. It's got some checking on the cowl there. You can see the car had some sweet air conditioning. These vents down here. There's one of those on each side. Which, I think those are pretty cool. Got the original radiator in the front still. Cap on top of the grill shell. There's a little bit of coolant in there, but not going to be using that radiator anyway. Okay, that's a basic overview of the Dodge, my new project. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it's a new project, so I figured what better time than now to start doing YouTube videos again on this entire process. It's definitely going to get cut up and modified, and it's going to look a lot different than it does right now. So if you're interested in seeing what it's going to look like and what I'm going to do to it and how to do it along the way, feel free to subscribe and watch out for future videos. But for now, I guess I'll see you in the future.